Hey ladies, it's Vlogmas Day 14 and my daughter Ryan has pneumonia. Lunch today we're having Panera bread, ham, Swiss cheese on rye bread with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and the garden veggie pesto soup, some potato chips, and an apple. And I'm going to open this soup for you ladies. This is one of my favorite. If it's not chicken and wild rice soup day, then this is my next favorite. And this is definitely good when you're not feeling well, if you have a cold. It's got tons of veggies in it, and it's always just nice and hot on your throat if you're not feeling well. So I'm gonna have some lunch. She was coughing and started her nebulizer treatments on Saturday, and it just kind of got progressively worse with a low-grade fever. So we went into the doctor's today, and apparently they are seeing a lot of cases of pneumonia in school-age children right now. So we're on a Z-Pack. We're going to start with 2 tablets tonight and then 1 for each additional day. We got a new mask and tube for her nebulizer, and we have tons of albuterol. So we're going to start with the antibiotics tonight and get her on a breathing treatment and try and get some dinner. So I am enjoying a hot cup of tea. This is one of my favorite, Earl Grey, and the Tazo brand is a great deal at Target. Sometimes you can find it 2 for $6. So I'm enjoying a hot cup of tea. The girls are laying down. My third daughter, the youngest, is starting to cough, so we'll see how that goes. And I think they're getting up. But what I wanted to do is open up this package I got from Amazon today. And I'm really excited. I think it is going to be my Raspberry Pi books that I ordered. So let's see if I can get out of here with one hand. Oh yeah, they're still coughing. I think we're going to ship all 4 at one time. So let's see, there's 2. There's 3. Let's see. Oh, and there's 1 more. Okay, so there's a Raspberry Pi and a Raspberry Pi 2. Now, I own the Raspberry Pi, but I went ahead and I picked up the Raspberry Pi 2 book because I'm going to go ahead and buy a Raspberry Pi 2. I don't know what the difference is exactly in the brains, so I'll have to do some research on that. Know what it does that the Raspberry Pi can't do. If you're not familiar with the Raspberry Pi, definitely Google it. So it is just basically a tiny little computer, and you can do a lot with them. And they have ports on them so that you can actually, there's a USB port, you can put a keyboard, a mouse. Let's see if this is a better picture. So I need to start using mine and doing stuff with it. So what I did was I bought 2 books for Raspberry Pi, the first one, and then 2 books for Raspberry Pi 2. So this is Programming the Raspberry Pi. So these are the 2 Raspberry Pi 2 books. Okay, these are the Raspberry Pi. Getting started with Python. So Python is the language to use when you code on the Raspberry Pi. So I went ahead and picked up 2 of the books for Raspberry Pi, 2 to try and get started with coding for the Raspberry Pi. I really want to learn some Python, and right now I do have some notes on like kids coding with Raspberry Pi and getting started with Python, but I kind of wanted an adult view. So I went ahead and ordered these, and I'm excited to get my Raspberry Pi plugged up and start working on it. And like I said, I'm really interested in getting the Raspberry Pi 2. So there's Raspberry Pi, getting started with Python. And this was $15 is what it's marked. It was a little less on Amazon. And I had a gift card from my company, and I went on and used those monies. That was McGraw-Hill by Simon Monk, and here's by Wiley. I believe I have textbooks by him, other textbooks. So this is Raspberry Pi User Guide, and it's a 3rd edition updated with Model B+ board. So I guess there's several different models. This looks like, so connecting to a wireless network via the terminal, troubleshooting, shutting down the Pi safely. So I really want to get my Raspberry Pi hooked up and code with some Python. Get to know it better. Now, I know my brother does some really cool stuff. Maybe I can get him to vlog a little and send me some clips.